105 at Phoenix, 78 degrees Cheyenne, 66 Portland, 64 for Seattle. Now here's a look at some weather and temperature forecasts for some locations around the country.
The forecast from the Channel 2 Weather Center: sunny and hot today with highs in the mid-90s. Tonight, clear skies, lows in the upper 60s to low 70s.
More about tomorrow's weather and a possible shuttle landing on Saturday in our next half hour. Diane.
Thank you, Steve. Would it be better or worse for you if your local government lost control over cable TV? The cable TV industry is happy because the U.S. Senate has passed a bill setting federal standards and loosening a patchwork of state and local regulations. But state and local officials say these regulations serve the public interest. The chairman of the New York State Commission on Cable Television, William Finneran, is here this morning to give us his perspective on the situation. Mr. Finneran, good to have you here. To start out, I'm a cable TV viewer and I know nothing about the intricacies of cable economics. Tell me why a local government should have control, and more control than the Senate bill provides, over the cable industry.
Well, the Senate bill is a disaster, not for cities or villages, but for the people. What it does is three things. One, total deregulation of rates. In other words, the cable companies can charge subscribers anything they want. But the second provision is automatic renewal of franchises. In other words, you are granting essentially a franchise to a cable company in perpetuity, forever. You have to find a felony offense against the cable operator almost to get rid of the franchise. And the key thing is the justification for the bill itself is totally based on two fallacious assumptions. One is that there's been abuse at the local level in terms of renewal. And such is just not the case. Here in New York, for example, out of 325 over the last decade renewals of franchises, 325 have been granted. But they're not rubber stamped. What essentially happens, the local government uses that to leverage, to say to the local cable operator, look, we have a 12-channel system. We want an upgrade to it, not an antiquated system, but one with 24 or 36 channels. We want additional services. It's been used very responsibly by local government.
Let me take your first two propositions first. Namely, you say that you need rate control and you need quality control, essentially. Can't the public be the judge? The public presumably wouldn't buy into cable channels that they didn't like the services of, or if the costs were too high.
Well, that's easier said than done in one sense. You see, what happens if you look at neighborhoods where there's heavy cable penetration, there's one phenomenon. Look around, and all of those rooftop antennas that used to be there are slowly evaporating. And so the reliance on a single wire coming into a family's home, to be that family's almost sole interface with the whole universe of entertainment and information, is awesome. So the bill, in effect, because of that perpetuity, the ongoing nature of the franchise, the inability ever to exercise local leverage to upgrade an antiquated system, to be responsive to consumers, it is a service business. That's the one point that's really missed. It is essentially a service business.
Well, what about the cable industry's argument that they need some sort of certainty, and there is this melange of regulations which prevent them from calculating what their expenses really are going to be?
You know, they're very effective. The fact is, it's an exciting industry, and but what other industry in the United States can claim, as the FCC just released statistics, in 1 year a 60% jump in revenues, a doubling of assets since 1980, and by the year 1990, this is going to be a $15 to $20 billion business, and by the turn of the century, it might well rival AT&T. There's no business that is growing by leaps and bounds as the cable industry, which shows that local oversight has not been an inhibiting factor.
Mr. Finneran, thank you for joining us this morning.
My pleasure. I hope the people will write their congressman about the bill.
We will be back with more in a moment.
Coming right up, Holly Atkinson on the glut of new doctors. The time now exactly 14 minutes past the hour.
Whee! You know, just